Hi, this is Jaclyn from Skin Perfect Academy, Skin Perfect Spas, and Color Me Perfect Cosmetics. Today, I wanted to educate you about how I do my makeup every single day. Everyone asks me when they see me on Facebook or Instagram, what are the steps for your makeup? Now, I can show you a 5-minute face or I can show you my everyday look because it has to be more put together and more professional. So I'm gonna show you that look today because I think it's important so you can see the finished product, and then later on I'll do a 5-minute face video for those of you that just need to walk out the door in 5 minutes for like a day off or running errands. All right, so most important step, have all your product laid out, ready to go. Of course, most of us have it in our bathroom drawers, and you just wanna make sure that you have your hand sanitizer. I have baby wipes. You want makeup remover, setting spray, anything that's gonna help you with application. I also have tissues over here. Those make your day so simple when you're doing it in the morning so you're not rushing around looking for certain items. Okay, so my first step is I'm gonna use Perfect Glossé. Now, Perfect Glossé is a primer for underneath my eyes. I like working off of a palette, so I have a palette already ready to go. This is with my custom foundation and then my Perfect Glossé primer because I like to use this so I'm already pumping it out and it's setting out, so I'm not making my lids super dirty by grabbing things with makeup on my fingertips. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my hand sanitizer. Since we're in the world of viruses right now, we gotta use our hand sanitizer, make sure that we're super clean even for doing our own makeup. Then I'm going to start with my Perfect Glossé. I'm gonna use my ring finger and I'm gonna apply this under my eye. Now my mirror's right here, so this is where you can see, this is gonna help plump my fine lines under my eyes. We are the driest under our eyes. Now I don't recommend you putting it on the lid because we don't want our eyeshadow kind of moving around. Okay. Also, if you are dry on your lips, you can put some on your lips. I am not, however, because I use lip treatments all the time to keep my lips hydrated. All right, so that was step one. So Perfect Glossé around or underneath your eyes. Step two is our CC cream, my favorite product. This is a primer, but also a skin brightener. So doing amazing makeup is all about thin layering. So I'm gonna use the heat from my fingertips. I'm gonna just massage some into my cheeks. And you're gonna notice I have a little bit of redness because I've been doing a lot of facial treatments while we have this downtime. So this is gonna really help neutralize any of my redness. And of course, living in Florida doesn't make it easy too because we're sun exposed all of the time. This does have an SPF 30. So this is sunscreen. This is the product I wear on my day off if I'm just running errands. So this would be part of my 5-minute face. So the idea is one even coat going around my nose. This is right here where you get redness. And then you can stipple anywhere where you have a little bit more redness. Go underneath your eyes. And voila, CC cream on. My next step is Perfect Canvas. Perfect Canvas is a primer for the T-zone. It can also be used all over the face. I like it because it's an SPF 50. So when I go boating or I'm doing water activities, I always use this on top of my CC cream all over the face by itself. But today, for my professional makeup look, I'm just gonna use it in my T-zone. So I'm gonna put a little small amount. You can also shake it just to make sure it's nice and mixed up. This is using only 16.2% zinc oxide, so it has no chemical sunscreen in it. Now what we call this is spackle for the face. So this is what's gonna fill in any of my pores, which of course we all have them. And then also this helps keep my skin balanced, so hydrated and primed through the whole day. And it helps me from secreting oil by balancing out the skin, because obviously when cortisol level goes up, our stress hormones are kicking in, we're gonna secrete oil, or if we're feeling crampy, we're getting close to our menstrual cycle, that also is gonna increase our oil level. So Perfect Canvas is great for utilizing it as a skin primer and sunscreen. Okay, now that I have my perfect canvas on, I'm gonna use my custom blend. Now this is my custom blend that was created for me, already made up. However, again, I like to work off palettes so I don't make my lids really dirty. So I have some of my custom blend right in here. Now I'm going to start with my buffer brush. Buffer brush is something that we love here at Color Me Perfect because it allows you to buff in the foundation to give you a really smooth, polished look. The key is very little goes on the brush because there is 11% pigment in our foundation. And again, I'm working off the back of my hand all of the time. So I'm gonna now buff. Now notice how very little foundation I'm using. I am using very little. The problem is people use way too much, and that's why they get that cakey, really, really made up look. Just look, just that little bit on my cheek. Then I'm gonna do my forehead coming across. Now notice, if your foundation is customized for you, it blends in your skin tone so easily. And again, this brush is allowing me to kind of feather it in. Okay, now I'm gonna do the other side. This is the side that I have had the most sun damage. So I'm gonna use just a little bit more coverage on this side than my other side. You know, all of us have one good side and one bad side. And I'm buffing it in. You wanna always go kind of a little bit down on your jawline so you're feathering. You don't want that line. And then I'm gonna stipple right around my cheek area where I have more pigmentation. Those are from post-acne, like hormonal acne many years ago, why I have those marks. I'm working on them, but because I live in Florida, it's a little bit more challenging, and hormones also trigger pigmentation as well. So it can get really clear and then they'll come back. But what's most important to me is my skin texture. Okay, now I'm checking, making sure I have it all on. A little bit more right here. Again, stippling. So I'm applying with the edge like this, and I'm using the dry side. So notice I don't use the whole brush, I use a side and a side to blend. And then I'm using the dry side to kind of blend around my hairline. I'm looking around, a little stipple right here. Okay, voila, foundation done. Now notice how much I have left. So really and truly, I didn't even need that much, so I could saran wrap it and use it later tomorrow. Okay, so concealer. I love our Wise Disguise concealers. I'm gonna use the shade Sand. So now I'm also putting a little bit on this outer edge, but not a lot. So the majority is gonna be inside because that's where I'm the darkest. Now you can use a concealer brush or you can use your fingertips. So if I use a brush, I mean, it's gonna give me like a really, really flawless finish. I'm just dusting it, really focusing on that inner corner and layering it right here. Same with this. Now I'm gonna show you if I rub back and forth with my finger, it also goes in really well. The reason brushes are great for concealer is if you just need like more detail work. But on an everyday, I'm usually rushing with my fingertips because I don't usually have that much time. Okay, so that is our perfect concealer, which is called Wise Disguise. Everything's perfect at Color Me Perfect. Okay, so now I'm gonna use my Sensational Eyes Eye Primer. This is where you do need your finger because you need the heat to emulsify the product. I'm gonna put it on my eyelid. This is gonna help my shadow stick. And I'm telling you, it's like a magnet for eyeshadow. So then my eyeshadow won't move and it's gonna look perfect all day. And everyone has discoloration on their eyelids. So, I mean, that's just part of life. Our eyelid skin gets the thinnest as we age, and it's the first to see thinness. That's why you even see 20-year-olds with thin eyelid skin. Okay, I am primed, foundationed, and ready to go. So now I'll put my Sensational Eyes Down concealer brush. I'm going to use my foundation powder, which is called Sand, and I'm going to use our travel Kabuki brush, which is my favorite. So two brush options. I can use our powder brush, which is going to give me less coverage, or I can use the KABUKI brush. So if I use the powder brush, that means I just want to dust a little bit of coverage on. And it's awesome because this is liquid baked into a powder and it's mineral. So it has a nice reflectiveness to it from pearl being in the powder. So that is if I use the powder. However, I like the KABUKI, that's my favorite. So I'm gonna swirl it on. And then I'm going to apply. And I like it because when I travel, I can use the lid. I'll show you how the lid goes on, it's really nice. And notice that that side gives me more coverage than the other side. Just kind of wanting one even layer. Doesn't have to be super thick. I'm actually applying it in really thin layers. I'm using very little pressure. And then if I want to go back through with the powder to do a sweeping coverage, I can. And again, bring it down on your neck. Very important. So everything goes together. You have no lines. You notice me getting red, it's because we're trying to get this video done before the leaf blower begins. Just a little pressure today. But hey, that's our everyday, right? Kids are usually screaming. You're trying to get people to get ready in the morning. So that's the way it is in families. Okay, so now I'm going to use our pointed dome brush, and this is for my contouring. So I'm gonna swirl it in, tap, and then I'm also gonna go ahead and start my bronzing. Our bronzer, the key is to understand our face shape. So I know I'm very wide here, I have a square jaw, and I'm very square. So I'm gonna do like a backwards E for my bronzer. That's gonna help narrow my face and give it some shape and contour. Now another brush that we have that I really like to use, usually for like evening events, is our fan brush, because this really helps give you that really contoured cheek. And you can also come down like this as well. Kind of brush back and forth and come down on my jaw and feather down the neck. Another thing you can do is pinch the sides of the brush. And if I want to narrow my nose just a little bit, you can brush it down on the corners of the nose. Okay, so now I'm contoured and bronzed and ready. Now we get to start with the fun things, which are color. Now, just a couple tips. I do have a powder like this, this is also a mint corrector. So if I were to have a treatment or a laser, you can use this under your foundation or on top to counteract redness. And I also have a highlighter. Now, if I want to use my highlighter powder, there's two options. I can use an Ignite stick. So that is, you can use it on the high of your cheekbone to give you kind of like that luminescent look. Or I also can use it with powder. The skin is dry, you're gonna wanna go with the Ignite stick. If your skin has more oil, you're gonna wanna go with the powder. So I have more powder, more oil. I have more oil, so I like the powder. So I'm gonna use this little special dome brush here. I'm gonna swirl, tap, and apply my highlighter right here. I'm obsessed with highlighters. I think they make us look vibrant and young. Again, swirl, I'm gonna go down the bridge of my nose. I'm gonna kind of come up on my lip and a little bit on my chin, just a tiny bit right here. And then so now I am brightened up. Okay, so the next step, I'm gonna take a baby wipe and I'm gonna wipe any makeup off my lip. It's really important because if you put lip color on, sometimes it's going on top of the foundation and it kind of mutes the color. And I want my color to stay all day and I want it to look bright. This is one of my tricks. Okay, so I am gonna begin with the color part, which is my Colore Me Perfect face palette. This is what I travel with. I cannot imagine opening a ton of clams, so I really prefer, or compacts. I prefer traveling with this because this is all my color and what I need depending on evenings or whatever I'm gonna be going out for. So I prefer definitely to have all my colors. So I can do smoky eyes, I can do a day look, I can do my 5-minute face, and I'm only opening one big compact. Okay, so I'm going to use an angle blush brush for our blush part. So I'm gonna put a little bit of color on my cheeks. Now, I like blending my blushes a lot of times. Now, the key of the blush is you smile, and you want it on the apple of the cheek going up, like this. Now, notice you hear me tapping. It's because mineral blushes give a lot of pigment, so less is more. Very important because people want to use too much, and it's easy to look like you have too much color on. Now, I like a reflectiveness in my blush, but if you have a lot of fine lines and wrinkles, you're gonna want to go with more like terracotta, which is one that doesn't have like a shimmer in it. Okay, so I have my blush done, and we are going to go with, starting with my eyes. So with my eyes, I want to use something that's gonna highlight and lift my brow bone. So I'm going to go with INGOT, which is one of my favorite eyeshadow colors. And I'm going to bring this on my brow bone. I also love to use it right here because I really think this opens up the eyes and it makes them look fresh and bright. Now I'm going to mix this INGOT with my other color because I want this on my lid, but I want it to be bright. And the other color I'm using is called Uninhibited. Okay. And again, now notice I mix a lot because I am a color expert supposedly, and I like to play with color and kind of make my own. Okay, so lid color, and now I have my brow bone color and lid color. So I'm gonna be blending this, but this is kind of just so how you can see. I usually like the medium value color on my lid, and I like the light color on my brow bone. However, you really should have a makeup consult just to know exactly what your eye shape is and what looks best on you, because everybody is different. Okay, so next I'm gonna contour. So notice how I have mine organized. I have 3 highlight kind of lid colors. Now I have my contour colors, and these are my accent colors. Typically, when you are working on your eyes, it's important to visit a makeup artist that understands eye shapes and really have them tell you where you need to apply these colors, because it's all about eye shape. Shadows, highlights, it can really change the shape of your eye, make it look wider open. So I definitely recommend doing that. I know my eye shape really well because I work on it every single day. So just keep that in mind when you're going to be doing contouring and highlighting and accenting. So now I have my lid color, and then I also have my brow highlight color on. I'm going to start to contour out my eye. Now I have a little bit of a heavier lid, so I'm going to go right behind, and I'm doing this windshield wiper motion, and I'm contouring my eye shape out, or kind of making my lid recede, or the little bit of a looser skin I have. I do not like shimmery shadows as contour colors. I always think you should use more matte colors, because if you use shimmer, it's gonna make your lids look heavier. Also, just make sure you're getting enough in here, but not as much as you are on this side. And I'm blending. So this is my favorite little blending shadow brush that we have. Okay, so now that I have my eyes contoured out, I'm going to usually do some brows, some mascara, liner. If I accent, I kind of go back and do that towards the end because I believe shadow less is more, so you don't want to put a ton on and then wish you could have taken some off. So I like to kind of ease my eyes into shadows, and then I can add if I want to make it drama up, but I am doing more of a day look, so today. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fill my brows in. So I'm going to use, let's see here, a Brow Wow brush, which I do prefer you keep them in the packs that they come in because it keeps them really nice and narrow and sharp. And then I'm going to use Cindy, our Wonder Brow. So when I do my brows, I'm going to take my angle brush, and again, I'm using the back of my hand, and I'm going to fill my brow in. Now, where my brows have issues is I have a brow tint on and a little bit of old permanent microblading color, but I'm going to apply to the top. That's where I need the most filling. So you always want to kind of analyze your brow and know where do you need filled. Where are your brows gappy? And then a little bit right here. And then notice I'm going to brush up just like I have mimicking my hair. And then when you do your brows from the arch to the outer corner, you want to come out, not down, because that's going to pull your eye down. A lot of people will go down. So see the difference between the two? One's gappy, and now notice how this one lifts more. And you can take your spoolie, which is like a little mascara end, and you can definitely blend it out. And always blend up, don't blend down or over, just blend up. I don't know about you, but I always like everything to go up. Okay, so now I'm gonna do my other brow. Again, keep your brush nice and thin by when you get your brow color out, you're kind of pressing it in the sides of the angle brush. So you don't ever want those brushes that look like they've kind of spooled all over the place because of the way you treat your brushes. You need to apply correctly and treat them with care. So I'm also going to work on applying out. Again, I started with the top fill. And notice where I'm applying the least is anywhere on the bottom because I don't want to bring my eye down. Everything I want to come up. Now, many of you probably need magnifying mirrors for this part. I kind of do too, but for the sake of the video, so you can see, I'm keeping it at bay. So if I have crazy looking eyebrows later, it's all because I didn't have my magnifying mirror. Okay, so that is my brow technique. Okay, so I'm gonna put the lid on my Wonder Brow. And then again, I would take my baby wipe, a fresh baby wipe, and how I care for my brushes, like especially my wet brushes, I'm gonna wipe it off, pinching, and then I would put it right back in my packet. So then I'm gonna put it right back so that keeps it clean and also keeps the brush from fraying. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and apply some mascara. Now, going back to the brows, if you do not have a brow tint, like I had a brow tint, and you do have some silvers, we do have like a brow tint that has little microfibers, and it can coat the hair, and you can go in and brush it on your brows to fill in any of those like silvery hairs, because you don't want to tweeze them, you want to hang on to every brow hair you have. So you can kind of make your brow look more three-dimensional by first doing the Wonder Brow and then doing this at the end. So we have different, like 4 different shades, so make sure you look into that if you don't have one. Okay, so I also, if I wanted to brighten my face up, I can use one of our blushes that have some shimmer. I typically would do this for the evening, not for a day look, but that's if I want to glam my look up more. If I'm going to do like a little black dress and I want to look more like kind of bronzed or like I've had a spray tan, I'll use some of our more glammed blushes. They have a lot of shimmer in them. I really love them. My favorite one is salmon, but it's giving us a little bit more dimension in our face. Now I'm going to put on my mascara. I do prefer black. Most people look great in black mascara. So I'm gonna make sure it's nice and well coated. Now don't pump it, you're gonna rub it around the tube, and then I'm gonna begin coating my mascara. Okay, so when you're applying your mascara, it's really important that you always have dry Q-tips available so you can go through and clean up. Now, I can apply eyeliner in a little bit as well if I need to, but I always like to do mascara just so I can see how much my eyes look picked up, bigger, brighter, and then if I want more definition, I can apply the liner, but I like to have just mascara, go back through, do liner, one more coat of mascara. And then I feel like I'm not applying so much eye makeup, because again, when you apply too much, it's too hard to go back. So now I'm gonna go into my lips. I'm gonna start with our lip liner. I'm gonna do Neapolitan. It's one of our waterproof lip liners. And when you do your lips, what's really important is you make sure they're sharpened. So I'm gonna use one of our sharpeners. Gonna twist, and they sharpen perfect. So you're not gonna have any breaking of your pencils. So I'm gonna go ahead and start lining my lips. Now, for those of you that turn down, make sure you're going on the upper side. So if people tell you you look sad or mad all the time, make sure you're extending your lip out. And then on the bottom, we all have a little bit of a ridge, but you want to stick with your lip line. Okay, so I'm gonna blend. So I lined, and then I'm blending in, so there's no like harsh line. Voila, lip liner. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to our lip stays. Our lip stays are amazing because they are going to stay on your lips. Oily salad dressings can take them off, so be mindful of that. But for the most part, they're gonna stay and they're not gonna dry out your lips. Now I'm going to use them in a way of on the back of my hand because I like mixing color and I like using lip brushes. Have all freedom to be able to do it on your lips, like one after each other, mix them the way you want to. You can apply with the dough tip right onto your lips, but because I'm mixing these two colors, that is, I'm using a lip brush. So I am filling. I have more control with lip brushes, and then I'm rubbing together. You always want the center of your lip to be the lightest. And gradually, like, make sure as you go to the contour of the lip, it gets darker. So then you can go back through with your lip liner and do a little shade and blending. There we go. And then I would let this dry for 30 seconds to a minute. And then I'm gonna finish this with gloss. I like to put the gloss just right on the center of my lip. So I could do it directly on, but for the sake of just like the video, I don't wanna have you wait a minute and a half while my lips dry. So I'm gonna use my fun lip brush. And I'm only applying, again, the gloss right in the middle. Voila, and that gives your skin like your lips a more moist look. Now I'm going to go back to my eyes and make sure that I don't need any liner on. So to show you a couple tricks, I'm gonna go ahead and apply an upper liner. Now again, this is towards the end of the makeup look that I'm going back through. It's just my technique, my style. You can do it any way you want to. I'm going to use a color called Meteor, and it's almost like this deep black foresty green. Now again, you can use your sharpener if you need to. And if you need to sharpen it just to make sure it's got, nothing's worse than having like a dull tip when you're lining your eyes. So I'm gonna go back through and then just apply, do what's called a tight line. I'm pulling the corner of my eye. Now, most people are not good at applying liner. I recommend you get permanent liner. I do clients every day for their liner because they just can't see or they don't have a steady hand. There we go. So there's my meteor on the top, and now I'm going to do a bottom. I'm going to use Mythology. Now, because again, I don't want my eye to look closed, I'm going to line from the corner here and only halfway over. I like using two different colors, one on top, one on bottom. This is the color of Mythology, so it's like a soft brown. If you use a darker one on the top and a lighter eyeliner color on the bottom, that makes your eye look bigger. It's a trick that a lot of makeup artists use. Now I'm gonna go through and check if I need to clean anything up. Usually check your corners of your eyes with the Q-tip. And now I'm gonna show you one last trick. I'm gonna use a little bit of a setting powder like this, and I wanna make sure I dust this right under my eyes so my eye makeup goes nowhere for the day, because of course, I'm looking down all day when I'm doing treatments. So this setting powder is going to help prevent any shadow, anything falling. Okay? And I could, like, if I'm gonna be on TV, I would dust this all over just so I don't look like I have a shiny face on camera. And then now my setting spray, our hairspray for your face. So you're gonna spray up, lean in, one more time, lean in. Now this is setting my face, so it's like hairspray for the face all day. My makeup is gonna look flawless, and I'm gonna look put together and ready to go. So I hope this was helpful and you have fun doing your makeup. Remember, playing with color is the most fun. Just making sure your skin tone colors match your foundation, your primers, that's the key. And then have fun with the rest of it. I'll see you next time and stay well.